Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. It's episode 332, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. I'm Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy? What is this? We're past the midpoint of December. We've got a fun commentary coming up for the week of Christmas that I'm looking forward to dropping. And yeah, I guess it's that time. We're wrapping up the year.
But there is still some bonus content coming on the Patreon feed. So if there's some topics that you're wondering, hey, why don't we talk about this? Well, it's over yonder way.
Yeah, that was something as we were sort of reflecting back on the year and thinking about the show and how we can continue to refine. And, you know, we started the Patreon this year and we're so grateful for everybody that's over there supporting us. And we're like, how can we add even more value for everyone over there? And we've decided that, I was going to say beginning in 2026, but really beginning today, we will begin dropping exclusive bonus material on the Patreon feed each month. Additional conversations ranging from talking about the latest trailers to extra headline discussions, or even just topics we think might be fun to explore and riff on. So the regular show will remain the same, but we'll be offering additional conversations for subscribers to enjoy and hopefully anyone else who'd like to join us.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But what have you been seeing lately?
You know, oh man, a lot. Probably
like you've had a busy couple of weeks, I feel like.
Yeah, well, we said that we've both seen the new Knives Out movie, Wake Up Dead Man.
Yes.
And review forthcoming. So we will cover that shortly. Mm-hmm. But I do want to acknowledge that, and I think that's what I will say really quickly about that is I feel like I watched it wrong the first time. I went into it and I was thinking like I'm ready for a romp, and it is not a romp. And I think I had these feelings like, like I'm not sure how I feel about this, but it never left me. Like I just kept thinking about it, and I was like, what an interesting movie. Like I just kept thinking about different things and themes and moments. And I'm going to watch it again because now that I know what it is, I want to view it, on its terms and be extra prepared for our discussion about it. So yeah. I'm looking forward to talking about that one.
My only thought is having watched this movie and the previous two Knives Outs, I'm like, this Rian Johnson guy, I'd like to see him try his hand at a Star Wars movie. I feel like he's got the juice. I don't know.
Yeah, well, this feels like an alternate timeline that we're visiting where that hasn't happened, and then one of us is like, no, spare his feelings. But something else I have to bring up, this is before I get into the movies I've watched. I think the last regular episode I talked about watching the movie Sentimental Value with Stellan Skarsgård, Elle Fanning.
That's right.
And an actress named Renate Reinsve, who, when I was talking about it, I don't even know that I even said her name because I was like, ooh, I don't know how to say her name. I apologize. With apologies to this actress. And it's a shame, too, because she is such an enormous part of why that movie is so successful. She's wonderful in it. I'm sure she's going to be nominated for awards. But I was like tiptoeing around saying her name. Mm-hmm. And listener and our friend Bushra texted me a video from YouTube called Renate Reinsve says Renate Reinsve. It's basically 3 seconds of her in the Criterion Closet just saying her name so people will know.
So idiots like Brian Hall won't make assholes out of themselves.
Well, as soon as I saw the video, I laughed because I remembered in my text messages, I laughed because I remembered that I kind of avoided saying it in the show. And I go, oh man, this is really funny. And she goes, no, it's just hilarious because you and Zachy followed that up by asking why people don't Google things. And I was like, oh my. And so she Googled it and she found a video of the actress actually saying her name. And I was like, well done. Well done. Touche.
Hoisted by one's own petard, one might say.
Yes. But yeah, I actually wish I had spoken about her more when I talked about that movie because
now you can. Now say her name.
Renate Reinsve. Shh. shines. she triumphs in sentimental value. And I say it jokingly, but it's true. She really does.
Let me tell you who you shouldn't tiptoe around. Renate Reinsve. I say.
Yes.
I say thee nay.
Yes. But anyway, I thought that was so funny, and I even made like a note so I wouldn't forget to bring that up in this episode.
Well, the lesson is from now on, if you in the pre-recording phase, if you have an actor or performer's name or any name, just do a Google.
Oh yeah, it's out there. You can find it. Yeah. And do you ever think about all the things on YouTube? Everything I'm looking for is there. Everything.
Yeah.
And someone had to take the time to parcel out that little portion. You know, it was from a Criterion Closet thing that she did. And they took the 3 seconds where she pronounces her name, diced it up, and took the time to upload it on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just, I marvel at that there's so many people doing the Lord's work and putting all that stuff up there for us. So I've got to listen to my own advice. And when I'm not sure about something, I got to Google it.
Well, thank you, anonymous stranger, for having taken that plunge.
Yes, and to Bushra for sending me that video. I'll mention this real quick because both of these things I don't think are in theaters anymore, but they're just worth mentioning. I went and saw Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair, which is apparently how Quentin Tarantino originally intended that movie to be presented. One long ass movie. And so, but I
wonder what Paul Dano thinks of Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair.
Yeah. I imagine that line from Don Draper. Do you remember that when he's in the elevator with that sort of underling character? And he's just like, I don't think about you.
I don't think about That's Paul Dano.
I like to think that's what Paul Dano thought about Kill Bill back in theaters. But I'll just mention it because I was curious what it would be like. Would it just feel like the two movies kind of scotch taped together? It was a 4.5 hour running time. How would that feel? I didn't feel that time at all. Actually, I saw it with my friend Chad, and when the intermission started, we both looked at each other like, I don't know, I'm ready. Like, let's just keep going. Like, that movie flies. It just flies by. And it was very cool. It was very cool seeing it on the big screen again. Weird to think of it as kind of a classic, I guess. I mean, it's 20 years old. I feel like I remember seeing that in theaters not that long ago. But the experience was good. And if you're a fan of Kill Bill, I do think the tweaks are minor. But I did feel the momentum of it all, even with an intermission in the middle, just seeing the whole story at once. So very cool experience. And then also The Shining was playing in IMAX theaters this past week. Yeah. And I saw that. You and I really love The Shining. And my friend was like, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? And my theater just got an IMAX screen, so it's kind of new being able to go to one whenever I want. And dude, it was incredible.
No, that's interesting.
I mean, especially because it's such a visually distinctive film. The framing, the way that the camera moves, and how everything is so centered, and there's so many details. This restoration was stunning, just absolutely stunning. And so, I mean, on an IMAX screen projected so large, it looked immaculate. And having this screen that basically filled my vision, I mean, I was immersed. Like, I just experienced that. It was like one of the movies you kind of wish you could see again for the first time. I feel like I got to see it again for the first time. It was, and I was actually like, I want to go again. I looked at showtimes to see if I could go again. And it was only playing for the weekend by me, unfortunately. So if it is, I saw in other theaters, it is continuing to play throughout the week. So if people can go and they're interested, high recommend. Man, I hope I love this. I love that all these older movies are coming back, in these special experiences, IMAX or whatever. And it's great. I love showing up for those. Getting back to this century, well, not exactly. Kind of an awardsy movie that's out there right now. I saw Hamnet.
Ah, yes, Chloe Zhao.
Who
you're a big Chloe Zhao fan, as I recall.
I was. She's very interesting. I mean, I saw her film The Writer, which is kind of an interesting story about a rodeo rider who gets injured and wants, has to get back in the saddle again, literally. And it features real people. So it is like a quote unquote fictional narrative, but it is inspired by this real person who's playing himself, their life. And it was just this weird, I don't know, slice of lifey, almost documentary feeling film that had like real big, emotions to it. And I really loved. And then, she did Nomadland and then Eternals. And she's been kind of, some things have landed more successfully with me than others, but she is always interesting.
Nomadland was good.
I like Nomadland. Yeah. Hamnet is basically, I always go to like IMDb because they sum it up so well. After losing their son Hamnet to plague, Agnes and William Shakespeare grapple with grief in 16th century England. And what this movie, supposes is maybe the play Hamlet, which grapples with death, was inspired by Shakespeare's son Hamnet. I gotta say, this movie was a bit of a mixed bag for me. It's a melodrama, and I think it will work better for some than others. What I will say, its strength is this is an acting showcase. At times in this movie, these actors are acting, and I think I found myself impressed by it and occasionally distracted by it at the same time. And so I could see it kind of depends on the person. I think some people will watch that and just really be like, wow, these people are really, and there are moments. I mean, it's in the log line, they lose their son, and Jessie Buckley playing the mother. I mean, she's just, from the depths of her soul, just, mourning and, moaning and just crying over it. It's difficult to watch. And I mean that in a good way. Like, it's just raw, these performances. And then other times it gets a little big, and I found myself just being like, well, it looks like the actors are really like enjoying going for this. And it's also kind of interesting because aside from the fact that these people actually existed, we don't know anything about this moment. So really it's kind of a fictionalized imagining of what if they were like this, and what if this event inspired this. And there's like a moment where, people think the wife, there's rumors about her. It's like, some say she's a forest witch, and so it shows her like walking through the forest, and occasionally it'll seem like she has these heightened sensitivities or connection with the forest, which kind of made me chuckle a little bit. Just the fact that these were real people and we don't really know any of this. And so I was like imagining a movie about my life, 100 years from now or whatever. And it's like, yeah, his brother Dan could, communicate with wolves with his mind, like what? Like,
well, that much is true.
That is true. And I hope they don't forget
for that.
No, it's just funny. I don't know. Something about that kind of tickled me a little bit, but like they had to heighten it in some sort of way just to, I don't know why, to be honest, but, the emotions are big. And I gotta say, the boy who plays Hamnet is a friggin' miracle. This kid is one of the best child actors I've ever seen. Just the emotions and the heart that he's able to, like, you see child actors and there's a little bit of you forgive them a little bit when they can't reach certain heights or something, because frankly, they probably haven't experienced some of these emotions in their life at this point. He's a very young little boy. And this kid is so good. And his relationship with his sister is so beautiful and just so sweet to watch. So if it sounds like I'm all over the place, it's because I was with this movie. And then at the end, I mean, this is in the trailer, we get to see a little bit of Hamlet. And the wife, Jessie Buckley, goes to see it. And she's kind of experiencing it like, the movie sort of portrays it where she doesn't exactly know what Shakespeare is up to, what he's working on. And then she goes to see this play and realizes that it's some sort of expression of his grief. I see. I'm sorry if this is a little spoilery. I don't think it is, but I don't think we're going to talk about this movie much else. And I have to mention this, but basically I think to heighten the drama of it, the way that they have her show up in the theater, she just is acting so like, what is this? What's going on? What's this play? And then the play starts and then the character's named Hamlet. She's like, what? What? His name's Hamlet? My boy's named Hamlet too. And it's just so, I know you're trying to convey what she's experiencing is inside, but she's saying these very obvious, blunt things out loud that almost make her seem a little dim, I thought. And it's funny because I actually out loud was like, shut up. Like, I think I actually said that. And what I loved is in the movie, everyone around her goes, shh. So I was like, okay, so it's not just me. Like, everyone is like, why does this woman keep talking? She's like talking through the whole thing as if she's never seen a play before. She doesn't understand what's happening. But I think maybe having her, Jessie Buckley's an incredible actress. I think we would have gotten it from her face. But I jest. But that moment is very powerful. And funny enough, this story kind of reminded me of the movie Ghostlight, which I recommended a while back on the show, which is another movie about a parent processing grief through the work of William Shakespeare. That one's in modern times, and he's in a play, Romeo and Juliet, and it helps him process grief over losing his son. And I feel like I connected with that movie a little bit more than I did with this one. So strong moments, but I'm not sure I connected with it as a whole. But I imagine it's going to come up in awards conversation quite a bit because the direction is pretty striking, and the performance. I didn't bring up Paul Mescal, but he's in it as well, and they're all very strong. So I'll be curious. Be curious what happens with that one.
Well, if it does well, I hope it softens the ground for my script about processing grief through the work of Vanilla Ice.
Is it through a restaging of the movie Cool as Ice?
Naturally.
Or I was going to say, is it through his album? Is it through his
a little
his
from
work?
Column A, a little from Column B. I feel like we-
There you go. Wait, do you have a title for it?
yeah, Black Ice.
Black Eyes. Bravo. Bravo. You got my vote. I'll be stumping for that one come that award season. Two more I want to talk about. I saw a movie called It Was Just an Accident. Have you heard about this one?
No.
Oh my goodness. I heard the premise of this and I was like,
I hear that phrase multiple times throughout the day when my kids do anything.
but it was just an accident.
Yeah.
As there's like flames behind them.
Oh yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
Fire in one corner, water in the other. It's we're covering all the elements in my house.
Yeah. This movie, again, reading from IMDb, says an unassuming mechanic is reminded of his time in an Iranian prison when he encounters a man he suspects to be his sadistic jailhouse captor.
Wow.
So what makes this movie really, that's an interesting premise to begin with, but what makes it interesting is when he was a captive, he was blindfolded the whole time. So he has not seen his captor.
Wow. Okay.
He hears their voice in real life now.
And he recognizes his aftershave.
Yeah, but essentially. And he's
I was
just
just joking. But
no, but that kind of it. Like the Musk, the person has a prosthetic limb, and so that he hears like a little squeak when he walks, and he is 85% sure this is the guy, and so he wants to kill him, to torture him back, whatever, but he's not sure. And so basically, the movie is he rounds up some fellow ex-prisoners to help him try to confirm this guy's identity. And some of them are certain it's him, some of them aren't. And it's what an incredible premise. And this is a great movie. It's very powerful. I think this is going to come up a lot during award season also. I will admit, when it started, like the first 45 minutes or so, I was a little worried because it was starting to get a bit repetitive, where like he wasn't sure. So he would round someone up and then they'd be like, nah, I'm not sure. Let's get someone else. I'm not sure. But as he collects these people, it's their different personalities that become very interesting because they all experience this horrifying thing together. But now they've gone on to live their lives, and they're just, one of them's getting married. One of them is a photographer. One is, a doctor, and no matter who they are, what they're doing now, like this brings them back to the worst moment of their lives.
wow.
And I will say, with an amazing premise like this, it's almost easy to come up with a premise like this, but how do you land the plane? How do you come up with a successful and satisfying ending to such a intriguing premise? Is it him? Is it not? what do they do if they find out he is, or if he isn't, and I was really, maybe when there's 30 minutes left, I start thinking about it like, oh, how do you like end this in a way that is going to feel satisfying? And for me, I really like how they landed the plane. I think it's a really potent ending. And I listened to another podcast where they were talking about it, and one of them didn't like the ending. I was like, oh, interesting. So I'll put that out there. But for me personally, it's tricky, and I think they found an interesting way to do it. So yeah, I definitely, this isn't a movie you just throw on Christmas Eve necessarily, but I think if that sounds interesting to you, I think I recommend it. It was just an accident. A movie you could put on Christmas Eve that I saw is a movie called Song Sung Blue.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
I've heard of it, yeah.
So this is with Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman. And again, from IMDb, Lightning and Thunder, a Milwaukee husband and wife Neil Diamond tribute act, experience soaring success and devastating heartbreak in their musical journey together. I got to admit, I didn't know a ton about this movie. I know it's coming out Christmas Day, and I got a screener for it. And it looked like, I like musical movies, right? It's by Craig Brewer, who did Hustle and Flow. Mm-hmm. And I was intrigued by the idea that it was a true story. All I knew, it's like a Neil Diamond tribute act, and this is the story of their lives. And I gotta admit, when it started, I wasn't quite sure what I felt about it, because in a strange way, it almost reminded me of like a Disney film, in that it's in its tone. Like, it's just very straightforward, very gentle. I don't want to say like on the nose, but like, characters behave in these kind of like, straightforward sorts of ways.
Yeah. And
then later it hit me. I was like, oh, it's not like necessarily straightforward. It's just sincere, and it made me realize, like, movies,
but we're not used to that.
Yes. Movies are too afraid to be sincere these days. I feel like they have to undercut everything.
You have to say, well, that just happened.
Exactly. They have to get the cutting comment in before the audience does. And they got to like poke fun at these people a little bit, or like, Hugh Jackman actually looks quite a bit like Neil Diamond, even with his hairstyle and everything. And instead of like, you look ridiculous, Paul, or, or something, and like some sort, they just never do that. They're like, hey, you look great. Are you happy doing this? I am happy doing this. Then that makes me happy. Like, that's the tone of this movie.
I don't understand the world you're describing to me. That sounds odd and frightening.
Well, I really began to admire the movie for doing that.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, in the logline, it says, they have some successes and they have heartbreaks. And I didn't know what those were. I literally didn't know what I was getting into with this movie. And I cried, like tears down my cheeks, cried.
Wow.
During this movie. There's a moment I yelled really loud, like reacting to something. And I actually was like, oh shoot. Like, I don't want my neighbor to think I'm like, I don't know, yelling at someone or something. But it got wrung a lot of emotions out of me. And I left this movie feeling great. I don't know. I love it almost like sports movies, right? We talk about, where it's like, it usually involves an underdog and there's a goal and you want to see them achieve it. And it's just always satisfying watching them work really hard and then chase their dreams and typically, achieve them. Yeah. And I thought this movie was really darn nice, and I would recommend it. I would recommend this.
They should put that on the box.
Really darn nice. Brian Hall, Movie Film Podcast. But yeah, this is a movie I think you could watch at Christmas with your family. I hope we see some more sincere films.
Well, speaking of Hugh Jackman, did you see the trailer for this new movie? I think it just dropped today. It's called Sheep Detectives.
No.
Yeah, it's coming from Amazon MGM, and it's Hugh Jackman as a shepherd, and he loves his sheep. He takes care of his sheep. He every night before they go to bed, he reads them mystery stories.
Okay.
And then he dies.
Oh.
Mysteriously.
Okay.
And so the sheep have to solve the mystery of his murder.
Oh my gosh. This sounds so like something I would like.
Right? I was like, that's adorable.
I'm looking it up. Yeah. Okay. When does this come out? So this is an Amazon thing?
Yeah, I think it's going to be in theaters, though.
Oh, it's based on a book. Okay. Oh, May 2026.
I'll watch that.
I'm into it. And I was watching this thinking how much I love Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And I want to say the same about Kate Hudson. She is really wonderful in this. She's given a lot to do. A lot of it involves performing and singing, and she has a great voice. And she's just I was like beguiled by her watching it. And
I was beguiled by her when I met her in person. I just thought I'd put that out there.
I literally thought about that, actually. I was thinking if I saw her in person, I could imagine like getting lost, like just, looking at her, because she's so beautiful and just charming and, like a ray of sunshine or something. And she brings that into her role here. And Hugh Jackman, I mean, he just plays this guy you just love, and you're just rooting for him. And there could be something almost a little sad about watching someone in his phase of life pursuing this kind of crazy dream where you're almost like, look, I really want this for you, but like, is this the best decision for you to be making when you should be thinking, you know what I mean? And Hugh Jackman doing it, you're like, you do have those feelings, but you're like, I don't know, man, if it makes you happy, then I'm happy. So, and of course he's performing a lot too.
Well, that basically describes Hugh Jackman's decision to go back to playing Wolverine too, right? Like,
yeah, sure.
You know what? I don't know if you should be doing it at this stage, but if it makes you happy, then I'm happy.
And we love to see it. So hey, if it makes you happy, then we're happy. But this is just a nice. This is a movie I'll probably watch with my family when they're here for Christmas.
Okay. Well, while we're talking about just movies that make you feel good, I just wanted to drop in a little mention of the SpongeBob movie, The Search for SquarePants.
Yes, I was hoping you would. Yes.
Which this is now SpongeBob number 4 for those of you keeping track
of movies. Wow.
Yeah. And it's in theaters now. It's counter programming against the Avatar onslaught that's a coming, and I think, I dropped a review for the paper, so I'm reiterating some of my thoughts. But my big takeaway is SpongeBob has not changed at all, and that's exactly what we want. We don't want him to change. We just want him to be SpongeBob, and that's what makes him adorable.
I was very lucky. My friend invited me to the Paramount Christmas tree lighting.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it was this big event. I mean, they literally shipped in snow or created snow, and there was a whole little patch area where kids could build snowmen and have snowball fights, and there was a stage and a band and food. And one of the events was they were showing the SpongeBob movie.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And
this one.
Yeah. And so my friends, it was kind of like why not? Because it's part of the evening. And it's funny because I would say the feelings ranged, and we were all, grown adults, and the feelings ranged from like indifference to like mild amusement. And I sat between them cackling. I laughed so hard at this movie. And I think your review hit it on the head. I mean,
that's great.
It's exactly what you think it's going to be. And if you enjoy that flavor, if you enjoy the like endless optimism of SpongeBob, no matter what is thrown at him, how can you not enjoy it?
I love the animation. I like that they're going CG for the movies.
It's seamless. I think the transition.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
It retains its quirkiness.
Yeah. I agree. The other thing I really liked is that Mr. Krabs, voiced by Clancy Brown, actually gets like an arc in this one.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just thoroughly charmed by that. I enjoyed getting to spend time with Mr. Krabs. And of course, Mark Hamill shows up as the voice of the villain. He's the Flying Dutchman.
It feels like he's having a blast.
I'm like, Mark Hamill is having the time of his life, and I'm here for all of that.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually a very funny bit on, I think it was on the Kimmel show this week, where he's uh, Jimmy Kimmel has Mark Hamill standing around on and around his own star on the Walk of Fame to see if anybody recognizes him.
Okay.
And nobody recognizes
Really?
him. Yeah. Like one person does.
Oh my gosh, I would feel like I was in a dream if I was hanging out down there and saw his star and looked up and saw Mark Hamill. I'd be like, what?
But that's the funny thing, because I was watching it with Amina, and we were both like, if you were just walking by,
yeah, that's true.
and he just like not, Mark Hamill wearing glasses and just kind of looking regular, you wouldn't make the contextual connection.
I think that's true. And I think most people think of his face as younger Luke Skywalker face.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Kimmel do a similar thing with Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like, can you name 3 Jennifer Lawrence movies? She was asking them. And they acted like they didn't know her. And I think that's kind of it. When you're not anticipating that and you're just out looking around and there's so much to look at on Hollywood Boulevard, I don't know. You're just not
you're not thinking in those terms.
Yeah.
But that was a very funny bit. But it was, in promotion of this movie, obviously. And yeah, he's having a blast, and I enjoyed it. I'm very curious how it will do against Avatar. My suspicion is probably not great, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But as counter programming goes, I guess that's pretty good. See, that's an odd one, actually, now that I think about it, because Avatar is kind of meant to be a 4-quadrant thing.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Except for the very teeny weeny ones,
Yeah.
But that's in theaters right now. Also streaming right now, it just started streaming, is the second season of Fallout.
Okay, I want to hear about this. I haven't watched season 1, but I know a lot of people liked it.
You'd like it, Brian.
Yeah.
I think you would. Yeah. This is, of course, based on the very, very popular, very long-running video game franchise, and it is set. I think I've mentioned this previously. It is canonical within the game franchise, so it's not trying to reinvent it or restart it.
Smart.
I agree. That is smart, and it is a very solid continuation. It's the main character is played by Ella Purnell, and she's great. And Kyle MacLachlan plays her dad, who, spoiler alert, from the end of the first season, but he's kind of a baddie.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get to see Kyle MacLachlan be sinister, which is fun.
Yeah.
But to me, the MVP is Walton Goggins.
Okay.
He plays a character called the Ghoul.
Oh yes, I can picture the face.
Yeah, he's kind of like a radiation skull looking face.
Yeah.
And so he's looks that way because of centuries of exposure to the post-apocalyptic radiation, what have you. But in the before time, he was a movie star.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
And so we're getting this like back and forth storyline that's showing who he was and how his life and essentially leading into the nuclear exchange that gets the whole thing going. So we're cutting back and forth. And Walton Goggins is just one of those guys, man. I mean, like, he is just a magnetic performer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's having a good year because he was just in White Lotus at the start of the year.
Yeah, right.
And he's great here. He was great in the first season. Love him here. I think it's a fun show. I mean, I'm not like I don't know the game at all. So I went in completely cold, and I've enjoyed the show. My son, my oldest son, he's a super fan of the game, so he gets all the little nerdy references.
Mm-hmm.
But
he likes it.
He likes it. It's funny because I remember when he was little. I took him to the first Fantastic Beasts movie.
Sure, right.
And he was 9. And he's like, ooh, that's the Gleepty-Glop, and ooh, that's the Sniktapoo, and whatever. And I'm like, shut up.
Sniktapoo, that's a good one, actually.
If that's not a thing, it should be. And then now he's doing the same thing, but watching Fallout.
Oh, that's funny.
It's
that's great.
So he likes it just for all the ways it ties into the game. I think it's compelling. I mean, it's painting an interesting portrait of life in the after times.
Mm-hmm.
And the tone, I think they nailed the tone where there is an element of farce.
Mm-hmm.
We have this like various factions of humanity and you'll get random pop-ins by like Macaulay Culkin and Kumail Nanjiani, or, but so there is this element of satire, but there is something serious underlying, which is like, who are we? What makes one human?
Okay.
When all of this is gone, I'm enjoying it. I suspect you would like it too.
Yeah, I've got to get to it. I have a harder time starting series, but based on your recommendation, it's on the list.
Yeah. And what's starting soon? I haven't started watching it personally, but I just received the screeners. Second season of The Pit.
Man,
that show kicked my ass. What a great show!
I know that is definitely on the list. That's
I feel like
the top of the list.
The way to ensure Brian won't watch something is to have it be on the list.
I know that makes me so sad because I don't know that you're entirely wrong, but like I believe in the list. The list exists for a reason. Wait, so when does that debut?
Like next week, I think.
Damn, that's fast,
I think,
right?
Or next week is Christmas, right? So it'd be week after next. It would be. I think it's like right after New Year's.
Okay. I mean, wasn't that just on season 1?
I think it was January.
Holy crap!
I know.
This year. Okay.
I mean, look, man. Season 1 of The Pit. I mean, it is 15 episodes, and it will pull you in.
Yeah, I know. I believe it.
And the nice thing is, you can binge it if you want to. And it's friggin' Noah Wyle, dude. I mean, he got his Emmy, rightly so, right? Mm-hmm. But I gotta say, I was way out on Front Street, being like, give this man his Emmy.
Yeah,
and you see him, and obviously for me, I mean, I just rewatched ER relatively recently, and you see him as John Carter in season 1 of that show, and it's also reflective of Noah Wyle as like a young buckstrap just kind of breaking in,
Mm-hmm.
And you say, man, here's a guy who's like, he, you always talk about this, right? At that moment, season 1, episode 1 of ER, he has no idea that 30 plus years later, he's still going to be, he will be working regularly. He will be respected, he has no idea what's coming.
I love thinking like that. And also, I mean, the life of an actor, my gosh, yep. Like you're on this hit TV show, and then I'm sure you hope you're going to do some movies, and he was in Donnie Darko and some things, and, he had that Librarians show, yep. But like, he wasn't in like Ocean's 11 and these kinds of
sure,
things.
Sure.
He would have loved to have been, but he had no idea that like, just give it a minute. That next big thing is coming.
Yeah.
You can't predict it.
Yeah.
And that's great. That makes me happy.
Although, what he was really good in was Falling Skies.
I'm familiar with it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. That was great. He was very good on that show.
And he was in that Pirates of Silicon Valley movie.
Yeah, he played Jobs.
Yeah, Jobs. Yeah.
That was like in the 90s.
Yeah, that's good going back.
Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, that's like before iPhone and all that other stuff.
Yeah, right.
That's a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie, fun fact, Joey Slotnick plays Steve Wozniak, right? Mm-hmm. And Steve Wozniak, I interviewed him a couple of years back. I was like, who's your favorite on screen? He said Joey Slotnick from Pirates of Silicon Valley.
Oh, that's cool.
So there you go.
Nice compliment.
Little data point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you and I almost saw a movie this week, but we didn't. We almost saw Ella McKay.
We almost saw Ella McKay. But I feel like we are now part of the great mass of humanity that has not seen Ella McKay.
I know. Just because, it comes from James L. Brooks, mm-hmm. and it definitely looks like a throwback kind of film, where it's like quirky characters with a lot of heart, and they're all just trying their best. And the reviews have not been kind.
Yeah.
And I've seen multiple places call it gas leak cinema.
not ghastly, gas leak.
Gas leak. And you and I were forwarding some of these things back and forth to each other, and then we were both like, I don't know, I kind of want to see it.
Yeah.
And so we tried, but it didn't come to be. But I think I will at some point, out of curiosity, to see gas leak cinema. But also, I have this sneaking feeling that I might kind of enjoy it. Like, knowing what I'm getting in for, even rolling my eyes through 3/4 of it, but just seeing something sincere. You know what I mean? I don't know. Even if I'm like, nah, it's too bad that didn't work out. I'm kind of in the mood for it. I don't know. Or it might get grating because I can imagine the quirky, if all the characters are all quirky and bouncing off each other and saying quirky things to each other, that might drive me nuts. But I don't know. Do you think you'll still get to it at some point?
I would like to, but I was about to say it's on the list, but we all know about the list.
Oh no, I hate that that's become shorthand for I'll never get to it now.
My thought more broadly was how, James L. Brooks, I mean, when's the last time he's had a zeitgeisty hit? Was it As Good as It Gets?
I think it might have been, because then he had that movie, How Do You Know, I think it's called, with Reese Witherspoon and
yes, that's right,
Paul Rudd. I use it a lot in Cinematrix. It always gets me a great score because nobody knows what it is.
See, my thought is, and actually this is something that you and I have talked about. I think that at some point it doesn't matter who you are in terms of directing and the level of success that you've had. You just sort of, the audience just moves on.
I know, right?
And I think that's it doesn't matter who it is, right? I mean, we got this new Spielberg flick, which we'll be talking about in a second, and I know that you and I and people of our ilk are excited.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if a Steven Spielberg film, all caps, means anything anymore.
When we were kids, this would be a cultural moment,
right?
And I imagine it'll do fine, but I don't think it will. Yeah, exactly. Like time moves on, and
and I mean, look no further than Francis Coppola and Megalopolis.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And it's like right now we're in this moment where everybody's excited for the next Christopher Nolan joint.
Mm-hmm.
And he too. I mean, it's just time is undefeated, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen to everybody. And so, look, James L. Brooks is doing fine, just to be clear. He could not make another movie for the rest of his life, and he'll still be rightly afforded all of the praise for everything that he did accomplish, and plus, The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my only. I don't even know if it's a fully formulated thought, but just like
No, I get
it. Eventually, it's just you're just done.
It's funny you say that because I've been thinking about that. I had that thought for some reason. Maybe it was related to him and some other people, but it's something that we talk about when people that we grew up with begin passing away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strange thing to see because usually when we were younger, it was people that like our parents were familiar with, and we just know as figures that our parents know.
Mm-hmm.
And when it becomes our people, like just the older you get, the more you realize nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
I mean, even like your favorite restaurant. I think about this all the time. Like one of my favorite restaurants closed during COVID, which wasn't an unusual thing, but I just kind of imagined it would always be there.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, like nothing lasts forever. And like even cultural dominance, The Simpsons, for goodness sake, you know what I mean? Like it's still there, but it's not a fraction of what it once was culturally, but just, it doesn't matter how big you were. Even Marvel's suffering, like nothing lasts forever. And it's interesting to see. And I think it's something you can only recognize the more time you live.
I think you're right. And in a broader sense, when we talk about these pop culture, behemoths that are obviously so prominent, and this is something I see a lot of from folks who are, maybe 10, 15 years younger than me, where it's like, don't let this thing change that I like. Don't keep, like, if you keep going with it, make sure it stays the same way as the way I like it. And I'm like, well, I used to feel that way. Now I don't get worked up about it anymore because I'm like, well, everything changes, and the thing that I liked in the way that I liked it is always there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I say, you hear me say this all the time. I'm like, if I want to feel, if I want Star Wars to make me feel a certain way, I know the Star Wars that'll make me do that.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what else comes out under that umbrella,
Yep.
That's just, I think there is that element for me of sadness in seeing this James L. Brooks joint just utterly die on the vine and become kind of a joke in and of itself, because I'm like, he's James L. Brooks and he's given so much, joy and humor to the world, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I mean, look, the example I've used all the time is like Bob Hope post 94, you know?
Right.
It's like, it doesn't matter who he was at his peak. By the time he died, he was like that, you know, that old guy who has no bearing on anything, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bob Hope, George Burns, you know, Johnny Carson, you know, like they can be astride the culture at one point. Eventually, you know, it's over.
Yeah. it's wild.
I was watching The Simpsons just the other day. It was the one where you know, where Krusty like quits the show and he becomes like a renegade comic.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the one where it's a comedy festival and Bart is like he goes up to Jay Leno and he's like, "Excuse me, do you know Jay Leno or where Jay Leno is?" Something like that. And Leno, the animated Leno, is like, "Somebody get this kid a TV."
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything anymore. Right?
I know, right?
You know?
Yeah, which I mean, just 15-ish years ago. Well, just 15 years. But like that whole thing, you know, I mean, he was at the forefront of the news with all the late night stuff that was going on.
Yeah,
it's just
right.
That's I don't know. I doubt many of your students would maybe even remember that moment.
No, for sure, no.
Yeah,
for sure, no. I mean, they don't remember Conan.
You know, it's funny. I listened to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and one of his, it was like a producer or someone who works on the show, was talking about how he was going to go in for like to a classroom of like, I want to say it was junior high kids, maybe even high schoolers, to talk about what he does. I produce a podcast, but they were debating like, will they know who Conan is?
Yeah.
You know, and so that was kind of the thing. And Conan was like, no, I think that makes sense if they wouldn't know me. And anyway, he came back, reported back and said maybe about 3 or 4 kids knew who he was.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you figure every one of those classes is going to have at least a few kids who are like my kids.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that feels like us, where we were maybe obsessed with Johnny Carson in a weird sort of way that most of our peers probably weren't.
Right.
We're like, and maybe not even obsessed, but we had like just a built-in reverence for him for some reason,
sure.
where it's like other people are like, what? I don't know. Like I'm watching like Thundercats, you know?
But see, this is the thing though, right? When you and I were in high school, people of our age range would talk about Letterman, like bits on Letterman.
Yeah, people watched that stuff,
right? Or for sure, bits that Conan did, right? So the late night talk shows were zeitgeisty in a way that they just simply are not anymore,
right?
You know, now we just got your Mr. Beasts and your whatnot, and that's just where we are.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know how we ended up here, Brian.
I'm trying to think what song. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
And we just stare off into the middle distance for a minute.
Okay. Well, before we fall too deep into our own
crapulence,
you know,
no, that's not the right word, but it you the way you worded that made me think of that moment. It was like a synapse fired. The cadence of what you just said with Mr.
I will allow it, but hey, we got some listener letters, so why don't we throw to those?
Yeah.
Mail call.
I believe you have a letter for me.
18,000 letters, all addressed to Santa Claus.
You got mail. Okay, Brian, we got a letter here. This is from Ron DeMarco.
Okay.
He emailed us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. And he says, "Hey guys, I was listening to your latest episode, and in your discussion about the chair company, Brian mentioned his love of Detroiters."
Yeah.
Now, I grew up in the Detroit area, and as I would watch the show, I would marvel at just how Detroit-specific a lot of the pop culture and just cultural references were. I always wondered, how did this play outside of Detroit? I've recommended it to a lot of people because it's super funny, whether they were local or not, but I did warn them that the show was very Detroit-specific. But now that Brian is someone who watched it and who didn't grow up there, what did he think of all the Detroit references? Did they fly over his head? Did he still find them funny? I never made the connection until now, but these references are like when you both sometimes reminisce about TV in the Chicagoland area. Again, great show. Never miss an episode or commentary track. And so often I want to interject. Have you ever considered guests? We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you, Ron. This is such a great question, because when I was watching it, I became aware that I think there were certain locations where I thought, oh, it feels like they're covering a lot of ground in Detroit. Like, oh, this is like a place that if you lived there, you would know what this area is, or this park, or this mall, or whatever. And likewise, some certain personalities. Like, I think there's a newsman in there that I was like, I bet. So I don't know Tim Robinson's background, but it started occurring to me like, oh, I wonder if he's from Detroit and he's kind of making a love letter to where he grew up.
Oh, sure,
and featuring all these people and local businesses and things. So yes, I did pick up on it, but not with any sort of certainty. I just got that feeling that that's what was happening. And I did find them funny and endearing, even though I wasn't connecting with them, just because it just felt so, this word, this is going to be like the Pee Wee word of the day, sincere. Like it felt like there was affection that was coming across through all of that, and the way that things and locations were highlighted. Even the way they were filmed, there'd be these wide shots like, hey, look, it's this spot, kind of a thing. And that just delighted me. And it's funny because like living in LA, I mean, I see places I recognize all the time, and I still get giddy about it, even though it's like, kind of dominates locations in films and TV, and it's maybe not as special. But I love that sort of thing. I love seeing things like that affectionately captured and highlighted. So
well, and I think even if you're not familiar with the specific locale, I think just unconsciously we just plug into the specificity of something.
Yeah, the authenticity too.
Right.
Exactly. It didn't feel like, like Always Sunny, which I'm not saying this as a criticism, but it's filmed in Los Angeles, and occasionally they'll have B-roll or something from Philadelphia.
Okay.
And it's so different when you watch something like Detroiters and you're like, oh, they're in Detroit, and they're celebrating Detroit. And there's just something, authentic and charming about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Ron.
Yeah.
And here's another note we got, and this is from Matthew Diamante, who also emailed us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. And he says, hello, gents. Since you mentioned bad fan takes about Dial of Destiny, allow me to take a swing. Now, this is in reference to in our last regular show. I don't even remember the context, to be honest. We were talking about the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and we were talking about the ending. How did we end up there?
I don't remember.
No, I tell you what, because I was talking about how my happy place is just being in my cave, flipping through my old books and stuff.
Oh, yes.
I got old WPWR commercials playing.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And just let me stay here. Leave me here, Wombat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's what Matthew says. If Mutt Williams had to die via backstory, he should have died while on an expedition with Indy. Much like Kirk losing Spock in The Wrath of Khan during a starship adventure rather than some unrelated circumstance, that would have hurt Indy in the most personal way, lent credibility to his separation from Marion, and made him more protective of Helena once they got underway in their adventure. Having Mutt enlist for the Vietnam War was laughably out of character, making his resulting death a fourth wall breaking jab at Shia LaBeouf that derails Ford's otherwise powerful monologue.
I do agree that it felt more like a comment to the audience.
Yeah.
Like he's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
He died in combat. Got it. All right.
He died on his way back to his home planet.
Exactly. He was kind of tossed off, and
yeah.
That's interesting. I can see that. Like,
I think what Matthew's saying, like, if he had to be dead anyway,
maybe yes. Sorry,
I would have preferred him not being dead. Just being honest.
Have him show up, or is he absent,
or just have him not there? Yeah, I think. Look, I think the notion of Indy and Marion being, estranged. I'm not crazy about it. I don't like that. I'm glad that they end up back together, but I feel like if that was the story you had to tell, I feel like there was a better way to get there. I'm just looking at this from the perspective of my kids who to the one, they're like, they did Mutt dirty. And I think that's very interesting because, again, it's that whole thing of like what we see, right? Like all the hate that people from our generation have for the Star Wars prequels, the kids who grew up with them don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with kids who watched all 4 prior Indiana Jones movies. It's just one thing. They weren't sitting there nursing a add-on for Mutt Williams.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of interesting with the Marion thing. I mean, we talked about this, but it feels like that's the problem occasionally with sequels is you have to, break up everything that we enjoyed seeing solved previously.
Correct.
Because we need to give them more problems to overcome. And so then seeing them, Indy and Marion get married at the end of Crystal Skull, and then it's like, oh, now they're divorced or, unhappy or something. And then, in Han Solo and Leia, I was like,
well, that's the problem. They redid the same beat.
I know. And I didn't love it. I didn't like knowing that Han and Leia weren't, I'm sure they have difficulties, but like they've been separated all these years. Like that's not, so, but that's just like, well, we got to start them with an issue and then we can get them back together. It's like, I get it, the math, but it's not fun to watch. So maybe the what had happened to Mutt had played more of an impact on why their relationship is strained, that might have felt more organic or something.
Right. I mean, I to Matthew's point, I mean, look, that monologue that Indy has, that Harrison Ford delivers, is fantastic. It's great acting. It's very poignant. And I mean, the movie, look, I mean, I do ultimately, I do like the movie that we got, but I personally, this is just me. I would have found a way to not have Mutt dead. I'm not saying include him in the movie. I'm saying just, I think he can be off somewhere and you just throw off a mention of him without, I don't know. I wasn't crazy about that.
Well, I see there's another part to this letter that it could be sort of related where it's like, well, is there an issue when you have a character and you just don't want them there or they can't be there, but then you're just like, oh, they're over in this corner that you can't see.
Matthew continues. He says, as for the Fast Saga, with all respect, and again, context, you and I were talking about now the troubles around the next Fast and Furious movie. And I think you and I both were like, it's probably time to bring back the Brian O'Connor character, even though Paul Walker is deceased and,
Well, Vin Diesel certainly wants to do that. I just feel like
you're torn.
I'm torn because I think, yes, with the story that they've constructed, I do want to see him again at the end of their adventures, whatever that may be. But no matter what, even that beautiful moment, I want to say it's at the end of 7.
Yep.
You can't help but be taken slightly out of the film.
See, I disagree.
Really?
And I'll tell you why.
I'm because just thinking about, that's his brother and visual effects.
No, I think that given the context, people understand precisely what that scene represents.
Well,
you can't separate that scene from the specific real world context, so people roll with it.
Let me put it this way. I stand by what I just said. I do think about the real worldness of it.
Yeah.
But I do think it was necessary. Yeah, and I do think it was poignant too. I thought it was beautiful. I think if you do it again,
what we're talking about is at the end of Furious 7. This was the film released after Paul Walker died. There is a montage of the various Brian O'Connor scenes from the film in the context of Dom and Brian are like racing, but it's Brian is like quote unquote Brian because it's like a digital mask over presumably Paul Walker's real brother.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. No. So, I mean, but I think that was, I guess, yes, I am slightly taken out of it. Maybe it's just my brain and I'm just thinking about filmmaking and whatever, but I think it was well done and I think it is beautiful and it is perfect for that story. But I think if they were to bring him back again, and I don't even know how they would do it, I don't know. I would be thinking about things instead of just being lost in the story. I think
I think the problem is that they have waited so long.
Yeah, that's probably part of it.
But again, it's what I said to you before. The fact that the character still exists within the world makes his absence very jarring.
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of like, oh yeah, where's Brian? Oh, he's at home watching the kids, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this is what Matthew says. He says, with all respect to Paul Walker's family, I think they should just recast with Stephen Amell.
I'm Googling.
Yeah, Stephen Amell, for those of you who don't know, he played the lead role in the series Arrow on the WB for several seasons. And he was also on Suits LA. He was the lead actor on that.
Oh, I see him. Okay.
Yeah. He's got the looks, the height, the voice, the charisma, and is just a few years younger than Walker was. Please check out the attached pics, which I should have showed those to you, Brian. Sorry. And tell me I'm wrong. Far better to do this than engage in any CG/AI nonsense. Well, I definitely agree about the AI portion. Luckily, Brian, this is not our problem to solve. Which is kind of Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Whatever sort of, maybe I'm like subconsciously clenching right now, feeling like the weight of this issue. But yeah, you know what? I'll just show up with my $15 and see what they come up with.
These are decisions that are above our pay grade.
Yeah. I don't know if Louis ever listens, but I believe in you. Good luck.
Godspeed. Hey, we got some headlines, Brian.
Yep.
Extra.
What a scoop!
All right, so there are several trailers that have dropped in the last couple of days. However, if you want to hear us talk about those, you're gonna have to jump over to our Patreon page. Ooh, is that mysterious enough? We got your Supergirl.
Yep.
We got your Disclosure Day.
Yep.
We might even got your Jimmy. What's a Jimmy? Well, you'll have to hear us talk about that on our Patreon.
Yeah, I mean, well, to elaborate a little bit, I mean, we were realizing our episodes are getting quite stuffed.
Yes.
You know, we're not just pushing 2 hours, we're going way over 2 hours, and we have so many other things we want to discuss. We want to, sometimes trailers and so we're like, you know what, that's the perfect extra content. The type of thing we've been wanting to add to the value of the Patreon subscription. So, yep, that's where you'll be able to find some of those extra discussions we have, including those trailers.
So head on over there. In the meantime, however, some news in the industry has just dropped. So actually, I wanted to mention this. Gil Gerard passed away, Brian. Gil Gerard. He was 82 years old. He was probably best known for having played Buck Rogers in the television series Buck Rogers in the 25th Century in the late 1970s.
Oh, just on the 16th. I just Googled it.
Yeah. As it happens, completely by chance, during the last week, I was watching old episodes of Buck Rogers on my Blu-rays.
Oh, really?
And then this passes my radar, and it's a damn shame because this kind of gets to what we were talking about earlier in the episode. The people who are sort of from our lifetimes. Gil Gerard was 82, and he passed after a fast bout of virulent cancer. And really, literally within days from diagnosis to death.
Oh my gosh! Really?
Very sudden, yeah. And it was posted by his wife on his Facebook page. He left a deathbed message for his fans that I wanted to share.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So this is again, this was posted to his Facebook by his wife after his passing. And he says, if you're reading this, then Janet has posted it as I asked her to. My life has been an amazing journey. The opportunities I've had, the people I've met, and the love I've given and received have made my 82 years on the planet deeply satisfying. My journey has taken me from Arkansas to New York to Los Angeles and finally to my home in North Georgia with my amazing wife, Janet, of 18 years. It's been a great ride, but inevitably one that comes to a close, as mine has. Don't waste your time on anything that doesn't thrill you or bring you love. See you out somewhere in the cosmos.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
That is, what a wonderful thing he was able to do.
Yeah.
I'm sure it felt good for him to express that, and how wonderful for his family and fans to be able to receive that. That's people don't always get that opportunity.
Did you ever watch the old Buck Rogers show?
No, like I'm familiar with it, but not really.
Yeah, I mean, I think my exposure to the show came from two reasons. Number one, my brother, who's 5 years older than me, was really into it, so I got into it because of that. And then I lived in Saudi Arabia during the 80s, and so the shows that we got over there were a couple of years later, right?
This is something I'm realizing the more you mention that, because every now and then there will be things that you're really familiar with that I'm not. And I'm like, oh, so okay, that makes sense because we were watching different channels, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I probably would have watched it, between 83 and 85, something like that, So, but Gil Gerard, in addition to having appeared in Buck Rogers, he was also on a television show in the 1980s called Sidekicks.
Okay.
With Ernie Reyes Jr. You know Ernie Reyes Jr.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is when he was a little kid.
Huh. I didn't
And
realize he'd been around that long.
Yeah, he plays a little boy martial artist who's like the chosen one or something, and Gil Gerard is a cop who has to keep tabs on him.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is a show. I watched it in Saudi Arabia again. He was also in The Nice Guys. He had a small but key role in that movie.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, 82 years old. Again, this is getting into the vintage of folks that are very much part of the tapestries of our lives,
Mm-hmm.
So hearing this about Gil Gerard, it definitely made me sad. It made me cognizant of the fact that we are getting further along in time,
I know.
Also, obviously, this has been the big news for the last week. Rob Reiner has passed away.
Dude, yeah, still kind of reeling from that one.
So I have a feeling if you're listening to this, you already know the broad strokes, but just for the sake of being complete, he and his wife Michelle were stabbed to death, allegedly by their son Nick, who is currently in custody as we are recording this, and the whole sequence as it has come out just makes it more and more tragic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. By all accounts, everybody who knew and worked with Rob Reiner has spoken glowingly, and this is obviously before this specific event. I mean, just in general, he says he was just a nice guy. My recollection, I could be wrong, Brian, is didn't you happen to see him like a few months ago?
Yeah, I've actually met him once or twice because I worked on a couple movies with the legendary editor Robert Layton, and he cut many and most of Rob Reiner's classics. He cut Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, Few Good Men, Misery, When Harry Met Sally, Princess Bride. And so when I was working with Bob, Rob Reiner was in the building, and he was like, "Hey, you got to meet Brian." I mean, it was so, and the two of them, I mean, like the kindness, these like legends, and it's like, you got to meet Brian. And so, Rob Reiner comes up and shakes my hand, and he's his big jovial self, and like, Brian, kind of a thing. And I was like, wow, oh my God,
talk about a moment, right?
Incredible. And
a moment that already probably meant the world to you, and now it's like a treasure that you have.
Well said. Exactly. Because in the moment I was like, this guy's a legend.
Yeah.
And I treasure that. And then, yes, recently, this past late summer, I think it was, or maybe September, Spinal Tap 2 came out. And my friends and I went and saw it at the Chinese Theater. And it was this event where the movie premiered. And then they had, Harry Shearer, Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Rob Reiner in character. So he's playing Marty DeBurgi, interviewing, the rock stars of Spinal Tap. And it was a delight. Like, it's funny because I saw once that after seeing the movie, if you had asked me, what'd you think of the movie? I'd be like, oh, it's a blast. Hysterical. It was so much fun. And then I was hearing people say, I don't know. I was like, what? And I don't know. I mean, I stand by it. I did have a great time and I laughed a lot, but there was something about that night, having a room, the Chinese Theater, packed out with people who are excited to be there, laughing at the film and just reveling in seeing these legends in character, having fun and riffing together.
Right.
It was magical. it was magical. And I kind of, like you said earlier, I mean, I treasure it. I already treasured it, and I treasure it even more now.
The news was shocking. When you see Rob Reiner has passed, that's shocking all by itself. But it's like one shock after the other. And it's I've been really thinking about it a lot, and I'm sure you've read the same stories I have about how Rob Reiner, his wife and son were all three of them, they were at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, Nick was behaving in a way that some folks found off-putting, which led to the family leaving. And then, hours later, this happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a couple thoughts I had. Number one, there was one specific encounter that I read about with Bill Hader. Do you see this?
Yes.
That Nick Reiner sort of interrupts a conversation Bill Hader is having, and Bill Hader is kind of like, "Hey, we're having a private conversation," and it's very awkward.
And I think it's worth mentioning too that everyone there was kind of dressed up, like
Right.
it was like kind of a dressy sort of affair, and he came sort of like dressed in a hoodie, and he was behaving very strangely, and some people didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
So Hader, I think, was probably a little like, I don't
know who you
know
are,
who this is, and
right. And Nick Reiner had been dealing with substance abuse issues for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health issues, all of that stuff is part of the backstory here. But the thought I had is that I can only imagine that Bill Hader is carrying some measure of guilt.
Isn't that interesting? I mean, I love Bill Hader, and I don't know him, but I was feeling this sympathy for him.
Right? Like, not his fault at all, but
no.
Like, what if I had done something different? Maybe this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, just even being connected to it at all, and what that must feel like. I was feeling this sort of empathy or something with him.
Well, related to that, the thing that I've been thinking about, and truly, Brian, I mean, I almost started crying just thinking about this, is that what was going through Rob Reiner's mind?
I know.
As his son is stabbing him to death.
It's interesting you say that, Zachy, because I don't tend to go there very often, but I had the same thing. I couldn't help but sort of imagine it a little bit and wonder, just the devastation, like your son.
Look, every parent wants nothing but the world for their child,
Yeah.
And when you hold that child in your hands, you think this kid is going to be amazing. I'm going to do everything for this kid. My oldest is in college. I still remember him being a little baby.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of that. It just breaks my heart.
And can you imagine the children left behind?
Yeah.
What in the world do they do with this? Like losing both of their parents and their brother at the hand of their brother. And like, it's a lot. It's horrifying.
Yeah. I mean, now add to this, and I'm sure Brian doesn't want to talk about this. I don't blame you, but I want to bring up the president felt the need to chime in on this. And the night that this happened, now Rob Reiner had been a vocal critic of Donald Trump, and I had this thought. I was like, I know he's been a critic of Trump, but like, Donald Trump is not going to. What he's going to say some boilerplate condolence thing. And I went to bed, and then I wake up in the morning and I see this novella about Rob Reiner died because he has Trump derangement syndrome, and just going on and somehow making it about himself. And it's one of those, I was already heartbroken, and this just made me infuriated.
Yeah.
Because it gives a clear picture of just the gaping maw inside this person, where he can let no moment be about anyone but himself.
Mm.
Right? It does. Think about this for a second. Think about the most boilerplate response. Rob Reiner and I disagreed about politics, but he brought a lot of joy to this world. My condolences to his family. Nobody would have said a single thing if he put that out.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Or said nothing.
Or said nothing. But okay, let's say, the president, I should say something. There you go. Say that. And it's, it gets me to what you said last time, or we were talking about Rush Hour 4. Everything becomes political.
Everything.
And man, is it exhausting, you know?
I want you to say everything you want to express with that. And I have one thing to say, and then that's about it.
Yeah. I feel like this is the type of thing people are just tired of.
Yeah. I'm just tired of all of it turning into this sort of thing.
Yeah.
All I want to say about that is I thought that post was absolutely ghoulish.
Yeah.
And sadly, entirely unsurprising.
That's the thing, right? I mean, by way of contrast, Rob Reiner was on the Piers Morgan show back in September. Piers Morgan asked him, "Do you have any thoughts about what happened to Charlie Kirk?" And he said, "Horror, absolute horror. Nobody should die for their political beliefs."
Mm-hmm.
So there is no comparison. There's how to be, there's how not to be.
Yes. And frankly, I mean, the rest of my thoughts on that are basically, I would personally prefer to spend my time celebrating Reiner.
Well,
and not
let's
making
do that.
about anybody else. Like because the thing, and I really do want to touch on this, is his people are bringing up the fact that he had one of the most legendary runs of all time for a filmmaker. I mean, Spinal Tap and The Sure Thing, which hasn't endured as much, but that came after Spinal Tap. But then Stand By Me, Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men. Like that is an insane run. And those movies are all like genre defining films for their genres.
Yeah.
Like When Harry Met Sally is a genre defining romantic comedy. Princess Bride is a genre defining fantasy. Misery is a genre defining horror film. Spinal Tap is a genre defining mockumentary. Stand By Me is a genre defining coming of age film. And A Few Good Men is a genre defining courtroom drama. And they're also different. And so they're all classics.
And one movie that isn't getting mentioned as much, I think partially because it's interrupted by North right before it.
Record scratch.
Because after A Few Good Men, he does North, which is legendarily awful, which is, of course, Roger Ebert's famous review. I hated this movie. I hated this movie.
Wait, tell everyone about the clip you sent me.
So Rob Reiner was being roasted by the Friars Club back in 2000, and he was being roasted by Richard Belzer, and Belzer has Reiner stand up, and he goes, "Here, can you read this?" And he hands him Roger Ebert's review of North, and he highlights a specific portion. I hate every simpering second of this movie. I hate the arrogance behind it. Just blah blah blah, just really tearing it to shreds. And then he finishes. And Reiner, perfect comedic timing, he says, "If you read between the lines, not that bad."
I mean, come on. Like, how can you not love that?
I think I love that clip, but then it also made me sad when you realize Belzer, Reiner, and Ebert, all three of them are gone now.
Yeah.
But The American President is a movie that does not get mentioned a lot in the last week, it feels like, because again it sort of interrupts that run.
Yeah
And again, I'm like, look at the film The American President, and then look at the actuality of the American president right now for this weird bizarro reality we find ourselves in at this moment.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time, but that's a good movie.
We would not have The West Wing without The American President.
On that note, there was I don't know if it was a statement or a tweet or whatever from C. Robert Cargill, who wrote Black Phone and works with Scott Derrickson a lot. He used to work for Ain't It Cool News. And I thought he said something incredible. He says, "The cultural impact of Rob Reiner cannot be understated. Legend isn't big enough a word. It goes to 11. You can't handle the truth. As you wish." Oh my gosh, I'm getting a little teary.
Yeah.
"I'll have what she's having. I'm your number one fan. You guys want to see a dead body? The very idea of a bucket list, The West Wing,
Yeah.
all from his movies.
I mean, it's true, you know?
Yeah.
There would be no Seinfeld, right? If
Yeah.
not for Rob Reiner, because it was
Castle
produced
Rock.
by his company, yeah, Castle Rock. That's the thing. The body of work exists. And also worth recognizing that, like James L. Brooks, who we were talking about earlier, you know, Rob Reiner too, he kind of hit a plateau.
Yep.
You know, I would
As
say
happens.
it's been, as happened, I'd say it's been about 30 years since he's had a hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's just the nature of these things, right? So I mean, at the end of it, you sort of you put everything you have into the work that you do, and your run is whatever it is, you know. And I think the specific circumstances of this tragedy notwithstanding, I mean, that body of work is going to exist and live on, and it's going to be studied and admired and appreciated as long as we have film, right?
Yep.
You know, and by the way, his acting work, I for the last couple of days I've been watching old All in the Family episodes.
You know, I've never seen it.
You never seen All in the Family?
No.
Oh, you know, my dad used to love it, so I used to watch it with him.
Mm-hmm. I remember it like from reruns, but no, I never watched it.
He was meathead, you know, and I mean, I appreciate anew his comic chops as the straight man, you know, to Carol O'Connor as Archie Bunker. But as we say so often on this show, whenever people pass, the ultimate measure is the type of person you were, and that can be seen in the tributes, specifically referencing his kindness and big-heartedness, and that obviously makes the specific circumstances so much more tragic. I can only imagine what the family is going through, as you said, you know. But you know, he forgive me. I somebody said this, and I can't remember who. See if I can pull up the source, but he should have gotten to live like his dad, Carl Reiner.
Yeah,
we should have had, you know, 20, 25 more years of Rob Reiner.
Yep.
And you know, that's a shame, no matter what, you know.
Yep.
He will be missed.
Yep. And for anybody, you know, those movies I rattled off, and go to his IMDb page. I mean, if you haven't seen those films, I mean, especially that, you know, Princess Bride and all those films, like, oh my gosh, they're treats. You will love them.
And I mean, seriously, when we talk about Stand By Me and Misery, probably two of the best Stephen King adaptations out there.
Yes.
Right. And the rare ones that Stephen King liked.
That's right.
That's no easy feat, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting too, because he had interest in, he read the script for The Shawshank Redemption, was like, I must make this.
Yeah. But
Frank Darabont, who had not been proven at that point, I think he worked on a Nightmare on Elm Street movie or something, was like, this is my passion project. Like, I really, really want to direct this. And Rob Reiner's like, well, then let me produce. I mean, come on.
That's amazing.
You know? And then we have a masterpiece, you know, another Stephen King adaptation masterpiece.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Remember the you know, at the end of Stand By Me, when the Richard Dreyfuss character is typing, you know, I love what he says.
I think about it all the time when I'm with a group of friends and then we split off and go to our separate cars.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, I never had any friends later on like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus, does anyone? That's so great.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. I saw that for the first time because of Sean. He was the one who recommended that to me.
Me too. I didn't really grow up with that one, but Sean was so passionate about it. I watched it and loved it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've watched it with my kids. They love it too.
Yeah. And of course, when Harry Met Sally, I mean, just so many, like, truly, like, for people who haven't seen this, they've got great movies waiting for them.
There's a great video that Rob Reiner recorded with his dad where it's like Carl Reiner is reading. It's like the end of Princess Bride.
Oh, I've seen this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and so Rob Reiner is Fred Savage. Like, oh, can we, you know, read it again? And he says, Carl Reiner says, as you wish.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, again, there's an extra level of pathos now in watching that, you know?
Yeah.
Well, this is a hard topic to transition away from.
Yeah.
But here's some other news, Brian. Hey, the Academy Awards are making some moves.
Yes. In, what is it, 2029?
2029, that's right.
They are going to take the leap from ABC broadcast television over to YouTube.com.
Yeah.
Now, one of the most watched television events every year, moving to YouTube.
Well, I have to applaud, first of all, the foolish optimism of assuming that there will be a world in 2029. So, like, oh yeah, we'll also have superpowers and all be able to fly in 2029.
Actually, what I would love is like a close up of like, the Oscars 2029, and then we do a reverse, and it's that scene in Terminator 1 where it's like people huddled on like a couch covered in ash in an underground bunker, like in rubble.
Basically,
yeah.
So the Academy Awards have been on ABC for the last something like 30 years.
Wow,
something like that. As long as I can remember, they've been on ABC.
Yeah, same.
So I am, and maybe you know some of the details. I don't know the mechanics that led to them making this change.
Actually, I don't either, but it is interesting. I was reading a Variety article about what it could mean. Mm-hmm. And basically they were saying with YouTube, it will become available, watching the Oscars to 2 billion viewers worldwide. And previously, many people do watch it around the world. And oftentimes, we have it accessible on a free channel on broadcast TV, but a lot of times people would have to watch it on their version of HBO or other like pay television. So now it'll be free to everyone worldwide. And they were also speculating, will there be constraints on a runtime? Maybe it doesn't matter, and also the content, do they have to think about network TV any longer, the host and the things that they say and sponsors and whatever. And it'll be interesting to see if the format changes at all or more.
So unlike before that one time when a flasher ran by David Niven.
You're right.
Now we can have all the flashers we want.
Yeah.
All right. Progress, everybody.
Welcome. Yeah. And apparently the deal will run through 2033. So it's
again optimistic, but
right.
I think this is somewhat academic for me anyway, because I haven't had YouTube TV, which was my last connection to linear television for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have, for the last several years, I've been taking in the show just by watching the clips on YouTube anyway.
Okay.
So maybe this is just a nod to reality, like that's where things are going as it is.
I had a similar feeling. Actually, I just looked up an article. This is CNN.com. It says the Academy had been auctioning off the rights to future telecasts in recent weeks, leading to speculation that a new big tech buyer would swoop in. But yeah, no, I'm a recent cord cutter. So my first feelings were weird. And then my second feelings were cool. As it is still a little weird for me. I'm a little discombobulated not being able to just watch live television. Sometimes in like news or things that I want to see, it's strange to me that I don't have access to those like I once did. And I did think about, well, the Super Bowl, how am I going to watch that? And the Oscars, I had thought about that. And now it's like, oh, I can just pull up the YouTube app.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
so no change basically.
For many, maybe even more access for people worldwide.
Sorry, just to circle that point. I think the vast majority of the culture does not even pay attention to linear television at all.
Yeah,
other than your Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an attempt to get the Oscars back in the conversation.
Yeah.
If ABC was doing fine, then this would not be happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
No, actually, all I was going to say was basically reiterate your point that it's like, I just think this kind of shows where we're headed anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, all of culture will be owned by like 3 tech companies.
Yeah. Probably, actually. I swear, like 10 years ago or something, I would have laughed and been like, I hope not. And now I'm like, yeah, no, probably. It just, how soon?
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Do they want to buy us?
We're for sale. We come cheap.
We're interested. I, for one, welcome our tech overlords.
Okay, well, look for that. We got a couple of years yet. So again, 2029. So nobody panic just yet.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a brand new movie in theaters, Brian.
Oh?
Let's talk about it on the other side of this.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
And we are back, and you know who else is back, Brian?
Who's that, Zachy?
Why, it's Jake Sully, Neytiri, and the various denizens of the Metkaina clan.
That's right. Very good. Very good. I remember I was actually, as I was watching it, I was trying to remember some of the words they said because you did such a good bit during the commentary where you had all their lingo down.
Google was my friend there.
Yeah.
I can't rely on Eywa, so I have to rely on
on
Google.
Someone cut off your thingamajig from the back of your head? I was like, I didn't know they could do that. That's
so
awesome.
Avatar Fire and Ash
Yes.
is in theaters right now.
Mm-hmm.
And seems like it's off to a reasonable start, as one expects from these movies.
That's the interesting thing, right? Like, we are doing this on the Friday of release, so we don't know how this weekend's going to go.
Yeah.
But I did see that the Thursday box office for the previous film was 17 million.
Yeah.
And this one is 12. So not the same, but still very good.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Let's assume it will do okay unless the bottom just completely falls out after we record this.
I don't think that will happen.
Right.
But it would be fascinating.
Now,
But I do have to ask, 'cause I think it's interesting and worth mentioning. I literally just saw this. Like, it's still rattling around in my brain, but you saw this a couple weeks ago. I'm curious how it's sat with you.
Well, it's not rattling around as much in my brain. So yeah, you and I are coming from two opposite angles on this one.
Okay, well, I want to ask too. Then, have you seen the Odyssey teaser?
I have not. I have not. Yeah,
there's
you
like
saw
a
that?
5-6 minute Odyssey thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's IMAX exclusive or if it's in front of all of Avatar, but I saw it this morning.
Is the product placement very, very blatant where Matt Damon's Odysseus is like, time to go on an Odyssey, and he hops in a Honda Odyssey?
So roomy.
Yeah. I would love to see, normally that would be very crass, but somehow I feel like Christopher Nolan would somehow class it up.
You know what? Well, and I will say, actually, in all seriousness, I've said that I'm not like wild about a film version of the Odyssey. I'm just not huge into mythology and whatever. And when Nolan said that was his next movie, I was like, oh, okay.
Really?
And then I saw this preview.
Wow.
I was like, yes.
See, this is, you and I are coming from very different places, because I've been hoping for a friggin' amazing big screen version of the Odyssey since I was just a little, third grader when I read the story.
Yep.
Closest we got was, and it wasn't big screen, but it was the mini series with the Armand Assante, in the in the 90s, which was fine.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So I'm all in on this one.
Oh man, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. What we see is pretty compelling.
Yeah, and the Avengers trailer was there too.
Yes, and it's the one I was like, yeah, I've seen this.
I was actually thinking about how the version I saw of the Avengers Endgame trailer, it was a bootleg, I should say.
Same. The first time I saw it, yeah.
Okay, and the version I saw, you could see people's heads. It was like Mystery Science Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw like random people getting up and like doing stuff. And I'm like, how y'all going to be getting up,
Zachy,
during this trailer?
People were doing that during the Odyssey thing. And I was like, are you guys out of your minds?
It's very upsetting.
Like, I thought this is we were all here for this. Like, what's going on?
This is I don't know. I worry. I worry about the future. I don't know. I have concerns.
Yeah.
But hey, so Fire and Ash in theaters. Do you want to just give your like fresh out of the theater reaction?
Yeah, I think so. Because I mean, most of this is kind of spoiler talk. So I guess some quick general stuff. This is what I'll say. We just did the commentary on one. One is like the standard hero's journey. Like fish out of water, someone goes into a new world and finds their footing and, you know, rises to the occasion. And that's inherently compelling. Just what makes that movie kind of funny in the conversation is that a lot of the elements and the way that certain things look are a little silly, but I think the spectacle outweighs the silly personally. Mm-hmm. But it's still not something I return to a lot. 2, I felt like was, let's remind you why you like being here. Mm-hmm. Like to me, I only saw it once. That was in 2022.
Okay, I was going to ask you that if you've revisited it.
Yeah, and my memory is it luxuriates. Like there's a lot of, all right, these kids are going to learn how to swim. Let's spend like 17 minutes watching these kids learn how to swim. And I remember thinking, this is beautiful, and I'll probably never watch this again. That's my memory. So for anyone who loves Way of Water, you know, I don't know. But I got to say, I thought after doing the commentary, I even thought, well, maybe I'll rewatch 2 so I'm prepared for 3. And I just was never at the top of my list.
Yeah.
3, the Fire and Ash, the current one, I think this is the movie James Cameron has had in his mind the whole time when he's tried to convince us this is cool.
Wow.
And I think the reason is the world is now established. We're not telling like, again, like, oh, someone comes to a new place and he's got to learn the rules and he's got to discover this and figure. The world is established now. And we have the dynamics between these characters. So now that we are aware of them, we can have more compelling drama, you know, like between Quaritch and Spider and Jake and whoever. Mm-hmm. And I again, this is on me. I don't even remember the conflict in part 2. But in this one, there's a great villain. And Quaritch, this isn't a spoiler to say if you've seen 1 and 2, but Quaritch is back and he remains an interesting, unique sort of villain from the previous film. So you've got multiple antagonists in this. And the visuals are insane. The action is great. I feel like if you don't like Avatar, this movie isn't going to change your mind.
Definitely agree with that. Yeah.
But this movie to me had the juice that 2 did not for me.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah. And we'll get into it. It's too damn long. But I also, there's like a whole climax at the end where all this stuff is happening. And I was like, only James Cameron can do this.
That is true.
And it's the visuals are nuts. The action is coherent and dynamic, as crazy as it can get. The effects are some of the best I've ever seen. I mean, I saw it on an IMAX screen in 3D, and I was like looking at Jake. Jake's just standing there, and I was looking at these little bumps on his body and pores on his nose, and I was like, this is nuts. Like, it looks really, really good. And we talk a lot about when filmmakers use CGI for car crashes or things falling over, it kind of misses the physics, like the ka-chunk that you feel in real life when something heavy connects with the ground or smashes into something. And I was thinking about that when I was watching this, and I was like, wow, they got the ka-chunk. Like, all the explosions felt like I had to remind myself that I was looking at something that wasn't real. And I marveled. I really did. And I really enjoyed my time with this, but will I go back? This is the one I'm most likely, I think, to go back to, but I still feel like, man, if you'd taken like 30 minutes out of this thing, it would make it a little bit easier for me to be like, maybe I would watch that again. I mean, even if it's not at home, but just what keeps coming up with Avatar is, these are theater movies. Like, this is why you pay a premium price and you spend the time in a theater, because this is the only movie that's going to deliver in a way that no other movie can deliver on. And I feel like this movie does deliver on that. Like, if Avatar is too silly for you, like I said, I don't think you're going to love it. But I do think this felt like a more compelling story, character-wise, villain-wise, action-wise. And I was dazzled, just absolutely dazzled in a way that no other movie can do, frankly. And so for me, this was a great theater-going experience. And this is me. You know what? Maybe we'll see what I say in a couple hours, but that's me fresh out of it, just like, wow. You know, and I mean, and there's things we can pick apart, and there's things that are silly, and that, you know, we'll get to all that stuff. But again, just as what Avatar seems to be, you pay your $25 for the whatever, you know, IMAX, whatever, to be dazzled in a way that only James Cameron can do. It, for me, I think it delivers.
I definitely agree with that. You know, I remember when I went to the press screening, speaking to the film's length, you know, I definitely I agree. It is long, but I think what I said to you is I didn't feel the length in that I never once looked at my watch.
I did once.
I did still, once. All things considered, still pretty good, you know.
For a movie that's 3 hours and 20 minutes, absolutely.
Yeah. That said, as soon as it ended, I leave, and you know they had the studio reps, to getting feedback, and it's like, Zachy, what'd you think? I'm like, gotta pee. That's what I thought. So having seen it 3 weeks ago, what I will say is kind of similar to the second one, where it's like I remember images and moments more than the plot. You know, right. After we did our commentary for the second one, because I had already seen it, I had already seen this one. After we did our commentary for the first one, before that point, I had already seen movie number 3. I was planning on watching movie 2, and I didn't, because I was like, I knew we were going to be talking about the movie, and I was like, if I watch part 2, I'm going to forget what is from what.
Yeah, sure.
So I made that choice. I'm like, I got to hold off until after we record, because otherwise I'm going to be it's going to be a total disaster, you know?
Yeah.
And I think in that sense that typifies the specific unique appeal of this universe, which is a movie which is a universe I enjoy going back to and visiting in the cinemas every couple of years, or you know, in the case of the first 2, every decade and a half.
Yeah.
Right. I think it is a feeling, and I enjoy that. My personal sense is that the second one did more for me on an emotional level than this one did.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But we're talking about a difference of degrees, honestly, because I think, you know, it gives you what's on the tin, you know? And so on that sense, I was mostly on board. The only thought I had when it ended is that by the time I got home, I was struggling to remember the specific resolution that we got. There's the thing, there's the character beat, and I think Spider gets sort of the most progression in this, you know?
Yeah, sure.
But I was remembering James Cameron being like, well, you know, basically we wrap things up here. And I found that somewhat curious, because this doesn't feel very conclusion-y to me.
This doesn't feel like Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Yeah.
Or Matrix Revolutions, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess he has said it could end here. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that kind of.
I mean, what he said, Brian, he's like, there's like one thing left, but otherwise we wrap it all up.
Yeah.
And what I said I can't remember if I said this to you, but I said this to somebody. If this is the end, I will be disappointed, because it just doesn't feel like an end to me.
I agree because, well, we'll get into spoilers about it, but I feel like there could have been a Death Star moment. I mean, maybe there is a little bit, but if you're going to like make things feel like they could be peaceful once and for all, I don't know that we quite landed there, but we do land some emotional, conclusions, right. I guess.
Yeah.
But I do remember during the commentary you saying that you didn't remember how it ended.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But I don't know, and maybe it's because it is still echoing in my brain. But I did think there were some like good memorable moments that I will remember from this, like situations. Whereas the second one, I'm struggling. I just remember the kid bonding with the whale, and I know that there's like whalers. It's like them versus a bunch of whalers, which kind of happens again in this one. Right?
And I should ask, is it weird that I'm like strangely turned on by Una Chaplin's character?
Zachy, I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it up, but I was like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I caught myself kind of thinking, is this weird? Yeah, I'll figure that out later. She might be able to turn me. I'm not sure.
I was like, I think I'm Team Quaritch on this one. You know.
I know. I was like, look, all I'm saying is, I get it. That's hilarious. But what I did like about her is that she is like a villain that is world specific to this.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's a good
Like,
point.
and she's so different. Like she's from, 2 is sort of about the water people, in the original or the first film, they're like the forest people. And she's kind of this like roguish group, the fire and ash people. And it was, I don't know, it was kind of cool seeing like a band of bad guys, and she's a really like compelling like leader, and just the way that she works with Quaritch, and
Right.
I just found all that stuff like it was stickier for me.
Yeah, I think the fundamental problem is one that's not unique to this movie, and it's that the Sullys are kind of the less interesting than like the bad guys sometimes.
I don't want to cut off your thought, but
I'm like, even now, here's what I remember. At some point, Jake Sully does the rouse everyone with a speech thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, we even have the son narrating, and then dad went and started giving his speeches or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, in this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And I'm like, well, that's a problem to me where like we kind of yada his inspirational moments.
I am really glad you brought that specific moment up, because you sent me a long interview with James Cameron. I think it was The Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, I think so.
And he said that his original cut was 4 hours, and Disney was like, no. And so then there isn't a lot of narration in this. And so that moment happened, and then the kid is narrating, and I thought, oh, I bet they've had all of this. And there, so yeah, that popped out.
But my thing is like, yeah, we've done that already though, right? That's movie 1.
Yeah, that's true. Literally, yeah, he rallies the troops.
So it's like they got to find different ways to hit the beats. Now that being said, I don't feel like Sam Worthington or Zoe Saldana are necessarily served well by the script in terms of really getting them a lot to do. But I'm going to contradict myself and say I really liked Sam Worthington in this.
Ditto to everything you just said. Yeah. I remember having that feeling in part 2 also, because Neytiri's a fantastic character in the first one.
She's not served well by 2 or 3 is my sense.
Yes. But when she is on screen, Saldana is crushing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She makes that character, every moment she has, she wrings everything out of it, and it's great. But to your point, yes, the script isn't serving that character very well.
Which is kind of a shame,
Yeah. And, I was also like, look, I get Sully's a Marine, and he's kind of like, got to protect the family, and that's kind of his MO. But I was like, could he be like a little warmer? Like he just, I don't know, just for me to even, not just for his kid's sake, but just even for me as an audience member to like want to, align myself with the guy. He's just, I think Worthington does a great job, but yeah, I don't know. Like I don't connect with that character. If he is sort of the lead, sort of, like I don't really connect with him very well. But I did think I connected with the kids a lot better in this movie than I did with the second one. Like I remember I was like, I can't even tell them apart in the second one. And in this one,
what's the son's name?
Oh, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. But I was like, I was like, oh, that's his personality. That's her personality. That's like, I was able to track them a lot better in this one, I felt.
It's weird, though, that I remember the whale's name. I remember Pyakon.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but not... Is it Loak, or is he the one that
Loak.
died? Is he the one that... See, I don't even remember now.
That I don't remember either. And I did have to remember. I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. The boy. That was sad in the second one.
The son that died in the first one, that one hit me.
Yes.
Right in the feels, you know? And so I would have liked something... I mean, and this movie is, you know, edging up to it, sort of, you know, the loss that Jake feels. He's trying not to blame his son, and you know, I would have liked more of a breakthrough that was reflected on screen. You know,
that's a great point, because yes, and Natiri's carrying a lot of like prejudice and frustrations from, you know, her history, and it is sort of hard to see her have these feelings towards certain people. I'm like, wow, it's so cold, but like you can appreciate why. And likewise, yeah, there's a lot of conflict inside of Jake, but yeah, I agree. I would have liked to have felt a little bit more catharsis at the end. And
I mean, that said, there's a moment with Spider and Jake.
Yeah, well,
in the forest, which
do we want to get into spoilers? Maybe
we can, but I'll just I got more emotion out of that moment than anything really between Jake and his own son. That's
kind of what I'm talking about. Like, I will remember that moment.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty intense. I mean, you know, kind of biblical in a way, but
absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, like there was like just a bunch of those sorts of moments that just really popped out to me, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't feel like I've felt that before as strongly.
I said this during the commentary. I think one area where you definitely feel a void is the absence of James Horner.
I thought you had said that, and I was thinking that as I was watching. And there's the score completely.
It's totally fine.
It's totally fine, but just that little fairy dust that Horner possesses. Yeah, it makes you long for it.
Yeah, I mean that's neither here nor there, I suppose. I mean, nothing we can do about that. But you definitely you miss him. You know,
as longtime fans of his, like you and I, it's like we want to hear it. We know what he could have brought.
Yeah. Okay. So did you want to talk about spoilers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Spoilers.
All right. Well, spoil away, Brian.
Well, yeah, this really, I was going to say this is a Spider story, but it's so much movie. It's a lot of people's stories. The one thing that you really intrigued me by after you had seen it, you were like, if you want to see a whale tribunal, buckle up. You know,
there is so much whale tribunal.
Yeah, and I was like, what? And then as it started happening, I was like, oh, this is it. Zachy told me about this. But there was, I think everything does weave together, story wise. But I think that was, I don't even know what 2/3 is in this movie, but let's call it 3/4. 3/4 through this movie, it started leaning into the whale sort of thing, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I was like, let's just stick with, we got the boy, and we got it.
It's already a pretty far walk just to get us where we are.
Yeah, and that was when I started thinking, because in the middle of this, I was like, I would watch this again, which is not a feeling I'd had with the others. But then it started getting like a little full, and I was feeling like, well, then I started remembering what a commitment it was trying to carve out the time to see it and the whatever.
That was 100% me by the end of the movie, where I was like, I liked it, but I think I might be good.
Yeah.
And not because I liked it, but it's a big chunk of time, and I'm like, is it, did I like it enough to, within the span of a couple weeks, watch it again in the theater? I don't know. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just not rushing towards it.
Yeah, I like if someone wanted to go, I would see it with them, but I don't know. Yeah, it'd be difficult. And there's other things I would, like to see. But I guess when it begins, back at the homestead, I like the things that are introduced where it's like Spider is kind of part of the family, but Neytiri has complicated feelings about him. But he's got this mask that keeps running out of batteries. I like that moment where he's sleeping and then he starts suffocating in his sleep. And then, Jake wakes up and I was like, what a cool problem, specific to this universe. And so, no, and spoilers, just obviously, it's kind of like, we got to get him to be able to breathe on this planet. How do they do it? Magic. But still, I liked it.
It worked for me because it seemed to fit in broadly with the world that they've already established.
100% that, and it becomes part of the plot.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, now this human being can breathe on Pandora, so all of the miners or whatever they are, working for the humans, working for the company that want to colonize this planet, they're like, holy crap, if this human can breathe and we can figure out to breathe, we can take over this whole planet. And I was like, great, that's a good plot. That's a good problem, and then Spider becomes used in interesting ways where he can be a human shield for people because there's no way they would shoot him because they need to figure out how he breathes.
Yeah.
I was like, that's good.
Well, and adjacent to that thought, so Giovanni Ribisi, I'm straining my brain. Is he in the second one?
Zachy, when he popped up, I felt a little happy because I'd just seen the first one. So it was nice seeing a familiar face. And then I thought the same thing. Could not remember if he's in the second one.
I don't remember, genuinely. That said, does his character have any other lane other than just weasel? Like, can we get some complexity?
No, we're watching Avatar. No, but you're right. He actually, you do get some complexity with some of the characters, but no, the villain, Ribisi, whatever. No, he remains the sort of sketch of a mustache twirler.
Well, and actually, in that vein, you talk about some of the weird pacing that clearly you can see the scissor marks as he's trying to get it down to theatrical length. The guy with the conscience, who's suddenly just shows up about 10 minutes before he needs to in the plot.
Yes. And
Tell me that,
one thing happens to him that would compel him to do this, I suppose. And then he disappears.
Yeah. And it felt like I had that thought while watching. I was like, I'll bet you that guy had more of a thing.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to snip it. And then it's like, oh, we need him to free Jake. And so we need to put something in just to seed that. And it felt very like arbitrarily like we needed him earlier in the movie in order for me at least to buy it more when he frees Jake.
Agreed. we do. He is technically he is in an early scene on a screen,
right? But
and he is in the second one also. And I don't.
Is he?
Yes. That's what's his name? Jermaine Clement. Is that his name? Sorry, Busher. I can Google this. Yes, Jermaine Clement.
Okay, so he's in the second one having bouts of conscience.
I don't know that, but I do remember that he's in the second one.
How long after the second one is this one set?
I don't know, but I did think about the kids' ages, and they seem to be the same.
Even Spider?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
So not long, I suppose. I don't know.
I feel like we're not doing a great job here. There's a lot of us like, is this? I don't know, maybe.
Well, to be fair, like I don't remember. Maybe that's a comment on that's our take on the second movie. I don't remember. Maybe there was like a big moment and this is the payoff, and we forgot the setup.
Yeah.
But okay, let's go to the moment you were talking about. Now that we're in spoilers, where Jake and Neytiri are like, look, if this boy lives, one person lives, it could mean the extinction of our planet.
Yeah.
So
specifically,
Spider.
Yes, Spider has undergone a process via Eywa where he is now able to breathe the air on Pandora.
Yes.
And he's got that little friggin', the little thumb drive in his hair or whatever, the thing. Yeah. So the humans are like, hey, if we can bottle this shit, we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
And so that leads to Jake and Tyr being like, all right, we got to, do the little knife across the throat gesture, And so that leads to,
No. Sorry. Yeah. Go
So it leads to this moment where Jake basically takes Spider into the forest, and Spider knows what Jake is going to do, and he wants to kill him.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, not only because of the tension, because genuinely as I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't know which way this lands.
Yeah.
And also how it, illuminates, the relationship between the characters.
Yeah, but I did, and it's very powerful, and it's maybe it is as impressive as their faces are now.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if a human face might have emoted the conflict even more,
like on Jake's face. Yeah,
on Jake's face. Yeah,
sure.
Just throwing that out there. But the moment itself was very powerful because you're like, I can understand the argument.
Mm-hmm. And
we know that Neytiri does look at him as an alien.
Yeah.
She said as much, literally.
Right.
And so, there is a real tension. I didn't think he would do it ultimately just because I didn't feel like it was that kind of movie.
Well, but here was my thought. I was fairly certain of that, but I did wonder if somehow Spider, like maybe he sacrifices himself kind of thing.
Oh, sure. Well, I was going to say why it still worked for me though was because of Spider. Like the way that he plays it, and this, it's like his father figure is going to like kill him, and then him like, okay, like if that's what's got the way it's got to be. Yeah, it was powerful.
That moment worked for me.
Yeah.
Oh, and related to all of this, I found just like in the last movie, I found Quaritch's through line very interesting. I found his continued progression in this one very interesting.
I agree. He's a good villain.
Yeah, well, I think they've made him into more than that, right? Like he's a straight up baddie in the first one. I think he has more shades of blue, one might say, in 2 and 3.
Let me say like antagonist. Heroes is a better way of saying it, because he's complicated, and I like that he, as no nonsense as he can be, he seems to truly care about his son.
He can get freaky.
Well, he could get, that was hilarious, that one shot of them in bed together. I was like, wow, all right. Almost like the John and Yoko in their hotel bed. But you know what I mean? Like, for as much as he won't compromise on anything, when it comes to Spider, he's willing to like compromise and lose things.
Right.
Because he really does genuinely care about his son and wants his son to come to his side. And I like that part of it. I like the whole thing about the way that he does connect with the Una Varang. And like, it's, she's got the weapons and even her thing where she only knows arrows and sort of things of the forest, and then sees, I forget what she calls it, the thunder, the machine guns, and just why that's attractive to her, because she seeks power, and him being able to give that to her, and like the way that they team up. I found all that really interesting. Well, and then also his mission too. I do remember he's chasing the Sullys in 2. And I also remember it feeling a little bit like, so is this what we're just going to keep doing? And then the Sullys move to another neighborhood, and then Quaritch shows up and ruins the neighborhood, and they have to move again. And in this one, maybe they did in the second one, but this one, his motivation, where it's just like, he's a soldier, and bringing Sully as a traitor and bringing him back to justice is his mission, hell or high water. And so when he does, it's fun when they have to work together, because there's distrust, but like we realize in this moment we have to work together. But then when it all comes down to it, he's put Sully in a box, and I loved seeing Sully in the box with all the humans with their phones out.
Yeah, that was, I like that whole thing.
It's kind of like what we were talking about in the commentary, where we don't exactly know what's happening on Earth to compel humans to feel so desperate about what's happening on Pandora. Right. It's enough. It's expressed, but it would be nice to see it so we can really feel a little bit more about it. But in this one, it did kind of like, spending time in the human camp and seeing how they feel about Jake. Like, that's the human who betrayed us.
Right.
and our
exactly.
mission for survival. And now we have him back, and he's our prisoner. And Quaritch feeling satisfied as a soldier for completing his mission about that. I found all that so much more potent than the things I remember from the past films.
Yeah, those moments work for me. I mean, that felt very like Braveheart kind of, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I almost like I wish there were more stakes in this one. That was my thought. It you know, there's sort of plot armor that protects our characters, and I think that this is my thought in terms of where Cameron was talking about. Oh, you know, we kind of wrap things up here. I mean, I would have liked to feel that in terms of losses that our characters have to take, because correct me if I'm wrong, other than Kate Winslet's character, I don't think anybody dies.
Yeah, and what I was sort of saying in the non-spoiler part was, if you think of that, the humans being there and their base as being the Death Star,
right?
I mean, we do see a lot of destruction over there, which my theater cheered actually when Neytiri was flying over with her explosive arrows and blowing up. I mean, they look like silos versus the base itself, and it's not like I want to see all the humans get killed, but like you do kind of want to see them. If this is the final one, you want to see them kicked off the planet once and for all.
Right.
I think is kind of what you're feeling also, right? Like we know that the Sullys solved it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it feels like an ending in that the movie ended.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get like trilogy vibes. You get what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah, because I mean, for that reason I just said, like, I don't feel like the problem has been solved. Like the base is still there, all those humans are still there. So what's to say they don't just, you know? And also, I mean, the Varang character. Actually, it was funny because I was like, as I was walking out, I thought, wait, what happened to her? I don't remember. She just kind of scurries off.
Well, and you know, I mean, Quaritch is like quote unquote dead, I suppose.
Yes.
Is he though?
Well, we never see him hit the ground.
Yeah, right. You don't see a body, so even that's left pretty open. I don't know. This is my only thought is as another episode in the Avatar series.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thumbs up from me. But I just tying a bow around what I said before. I feel like it's not meant as an ending, and so if Cameron decides to nope out after this, then I'm going to look at this whole endeavor as like, well, it was fine. You know, it's not as cumulatively satisfying as it might otherwise have been.
Yeah, well, I guess because I was going to say then it would feel like maybe he didn't chart it out in a way that you would think someone would, a trilogy.
Yeah.
But apparently, I mean, he didn't, right? He had 5 movies in mind.
Yeah, and so it seems like based on interviews, I think he's just kind of like, you know, maybe I'm just ready to move on. Which makes sense because he's been doing this for close to 20 years. So, you know, 30 years really, right? Because he was 95, I think he first came up with the idea, right? So for me, these films really exemplify what a theatrical experience can be, and what has applied to each of the previous ones is just as applicable here, where you go, you watch it, you enjoy it, you luxuriate in it in the theater, and then it is sort of like vapor. It's like, you know, going on an amazing roller coaster. You remember having been on that roller coaster, but you don't remember the specific turns that roller coaster takes you on. You just remember the wind in your hair, you know?
I agree with that, but like a slightly more positive. I think that was how I felt.
Mine is a positive. I want to be very clear. It is a thumbs up from me, you know?
I think that was my feeling of the second one. Like if you want to go have a theater experience that just feels like a really gorgeous, sumptuous ride, then that's what you're going to get. This one, I did feel more invested. Like I did feel, I found the character dynamics more memorable and interesting. I found, Frank, I mean, I know the stakes, like, I could nitpick them a little bit, but like, you know, I did find the stakes compelling and interesting. I wanted to see the villains thwarted, and the villain and his relationship, or let's say the antagonist, you know, like Quaritch and Sully and their complicated relationship, and how he's aligned himself with this, you know, crazy, scary woman, you know, from like, it's just, like I said, there's just more stickiness for me plot wise and character wise in this one than I felt from the last. So I liked it. I liked it as a movie, not just an Avatar movie. I enjoyed it.
Well, I think look, I think James Cameron has yet to strike out with me.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's hard to think of a director who's more consistently good than James Cameron
Yeah.
with me,
Mhm.
And so it's like, he's well within his strike zone with this one.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. And the other thought, and this is sort of just adding on to what you're saying before, I think now that we're here, movie 3, I mean, he's established this world and its particular, peculiarities so well that we can just be dropped into it.
Mm-hmm.
And there isn't too much catch up required, which is nice.
Agreed. And to further compliment Cameron, because he needs it, I really did think about the action as I was watching it. Like, wow, like this is the thing other people can't do.
Yeah, that's
like they fill the screen with visual noise, thinking that's going to excite you, but really you go cross-eyed because you can't comprehend what you're looking at. It's just stuff being flung at you.
Yeah.
And in this, there is a lot of things flying at you on the screen, but it just felt so much more dynamic and intentional and well composed, just filmmaking wise. And I was able to track with all of it. And it never, ever to me felt like CGI gobbledygook.
Right.
Like it felt like a bunch of riders on these amazing flying creatures, taking out these ships, these giant whale creatures, taking out these huge vessels. And I was awed. And I feel like I haven't been awed by visual effects like that in, I don't know, like a really long time. He's got an eye. He's got an eye.
He does. Well, and this is something he's talked about before, where he'll come up with an idea and then he'll figure out how to make that happen, right? He like solving problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the reason his movies withstand the test of time, because he's working a few years ahead of what's available.
Yeah.
And so he's almost future-proofing his films in that way,
Yeah.
But in just to add on to what you're saying, I mean, the Kiri character played by Sigourney Weaver, I remember being impressed with her in the previous one, and I remain so here.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least me, I mean, I forget I'm looking at Sigourney Weaver.
I know. Yeah, right.
But I mean, she feels fully realized as a person, as a character.
Yeah.
Completely separate from the effects and the way they wove her through, and I love her through line. Honestly, the final bit where we see Spider is able to connect with Eywa and reconnect with all the people who are lost. Man, that worked for me.
Me too.
I really like that.
Yeah, I got a little like teary when the whole thing is that Kiri.
Yeah.
I have the IMDb. I can't scroll fast enough. Kiri, I mean, it's so obvious. Like, it's like, well, she can't connect to that thing or she'll die. It's like, okay, so she's going to have to do that at the end. But when she's doing it and she's struggling, and then all her siblings come and like join her and they're helping her fight against the thing that she's having to push against. Like, I was really moved by that. Like the siblings and supporting one another, and it worked. It worked for me.
I agree. Yeah.
And we see the face of Eywa.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That was it kind of gave me Star Child vibes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No. I am dying to know what people are going to think about this movie. I like and if it connects like the previous ones, like is this just always going to hit? Or was there a lot of, I mean, we had 10 years or so, right? Where we didn't know if we were going to get, or more, where we didn't know if we were going to get a sequel, even though Cameron kept bringing it up. So there was a lot of anticipation for that one. And could he top himself? Will it be worth it? I do kind of want to go back. Let's see, effects have improved. And so is there as much anticipation for this one? I'm curious.
I suspect it'll end up doing okay. I'm just anecdotally, I know reactions from people who went on Thursday were very like, oh, they were mixed positive to ecstatically positive.
Okay. That's what I'm curious. Like general, I've seen critics reviews and things.
Like,
but
but even the critic reviews, even people who are saying it's their least favorite of the three are still giving it a positive review.
Yeah,
that's my sense anyway. I mean, I haven't dived too deep into the Rotten Tomatoes corner, but
But yeah, I'm looking forward to having conversations with people about it. Because Avatar is so polarizing, with people. So I'm even wondering if people who don't love it but are gonna go just because it's the thing to go see,
just to hate watch.
Well, yeah, and I'm wondering if it will, where they'll rank it. If they'll go, well, actually, I did like it a little bit better than this one, but I'm still not crazy about it. Or if they'll like it, or if they'll just be like, that's just like the others. I'm very, very curious. But I'm so glad, man. I was so curious what you would think, and yeah, it sounds like we're pretty close.
Yeah, it is a world I enjoy visiting periodically, and I think ultimately, big picture, I'm like, whatever James Cameron wants to make, I will be interested in watching it.
Yeah.
So he said he's ready to move on and do other things, and when I heard him say that, because I was having already seen the third one, I never thought I'd say this. I'm like, oh, like at least wrap up this story.
This is the first time I think I've felt myself thinking like, well, I'm kind of looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go back to this.
That was me again,
and not just the world. That's the thing. Not just the world, the characters. This is the first time I've felt like I kind of want to go back to these characters.
Well, there you go.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hey, let us know your thoughts, everybody out there listening. What did you think about the film? What did you think about what we had to say about the film? You can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. As always, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, leave a star rating, also at Spotify. And if you're listening to this show via YouTube, please hit subscribe and hit like and leave comments there, because we do read those on the show. We also have a Patreon, Brian.
That's right. If you head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and hit subscribe for only $5 a month, you'll find every commentary we've ever done and every episode moving forward absolutely ad-free. Our free feed will always be available, but this is our way of providing what we believe is the most satisfying way to enjoy the show without ads and interruptions butting in. Also, as we've mentioned, in the new year, we want to add even more value to the Patreon page, and we are going to be dropping in bonus content at least once every month, hopefully a little bit more, where we cover trailer talk and extra headlines and things on our mind that just won't fit into our the aim of 2 hours that we try to do with every episode. So you can look forward to that in the new year more regularly. Plus, your subscription goes a long way in helping to support us and helping to sustain producing the show. So if you're interested and able, please head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and subscribe. We'd be very grateful.
And if you're looking for me online, you can find me on social media at ZAKIS Corner. And you can also read my reviews at the San Francisco Chronicle and also at The Wrap and IGN. What about you, Brian?
You can find episodes I've written of Puppy Dog Pals and Young Jedi Adventures streaming on Disney+. There
you go. And with that, on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, this has been Movie Film 332. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome, friends. It's the Movie Film Podcast.